Number opposites. The opposite of a number is the number that is the same distance from 0 but on the other side of 0. So for example, -3 and 3 are opposites because they are the same distance from 0 but in opposite directions. As you can see, they are both the distance of 3 but in opposite directions. So they are opposites. The opposite of -5 is 5. As you can see on this second number line, 0 is in the middle. -5 is a distance of 5 from 0. And 5 is the same exact distance from 0, but in the opposite direction. Opposites are the same distance from 0, but in opposite directions. So pretty much they are the same number, but with opposite signs. As you can see, +5 and -5, they both are 5, but one is negative and one is positive. They are opposites. There is one special situation on the number line, 0. The opposite of 0 is 0. 0 is its own opposite as there is only one 0 on the number line. There is no such thing as -0, so 0 is its own opposite. Sometimes they use a negative symbol to mean the opposite. So sometimes they'll write the opposite of 3 is -3, or they can notate it using an extra negative. So as you can see here, they put a negative in front of the 3 to show the opposite of 3 is -3. Again, down here, they used a negative symbol instead of the words the opposite. The opposite of -12 is 12. So they can use a negative, so I highlighted the negative in purple here to show that that's the one that means opposite. So the opposite of a negative is a positive. The opposite of a positive is a negative. So they can use a negative symbol to also notate meaning the opposite. So there's also something called the opposite of the opposite. That pretty much brings a number right back to where it started. So the opposite of 72 is 72. It goes right back to its original. It's notated like this right here. The rule is the opposite of a number is that number. So to show you, we have 72 as our starting number. The opposite of 72 would be -72. But then the opposite of the opposite, you would take -72 and find the opposite of that. So the opposite of the opposite would go right back to 72. And the opposite of the opposite works with negatives as well. If we start with the number -5 and we take the opposite, it would be 5. But if we take the opposite of the opposite, we take the opposite of 5, which would go right back to -5. So that's why the rule, the opposite of a number, is that number. It always goes right back to the original starting number.